Seguimos en Houston en la experiencia de la NFL y del Super Bowl 51. Se acerca el día del partido, Atlanta contra Nueva Inglaterra. Y sí, sabemos que hay muchos aficionados que les gusta el fútbol americano, pero no necesariamente le van a Atlanta o a Nueva Inglaterra. Es decir, habemos algunos Raiders, habrá seguramente millones de vaqueros que siguen llorando, pero vamos a concentrarnos más en el partido. Todos sabemos que está Tom Brady, que está Matt Ryan, que son dos de las ofensivas más explosivas que hay en la liga. Recurrimos a los expertos para que nos expliquen cuáles son los enfrentamientos clave tanto para Atlanta como para Nueva Inglaterra. ¿Y quiénes son los expertos de Sopitas.com? Bueno, fácil. Recurrimos al coach Steve Mariucci, a Deion Sanders, a Michael Bennett, a Willie McGinest, a LaDainian Tomlinson, a Terrell Davis. ¿Les suenan conocidos? Sí, todos ellos jugaron Super Bowls, ganaron Super Bowls y saben qué es lo que estar aquí en el gran partido y en el gran momento. Así que si quieren saber qué es lo que nos depara deportivamente hablando el Super Bowl, esto es lo que nos dicen los expertos respecto a Patriotas de Nueva Inglaterra y Halcones de Atlanta.
Well, I mean, I think there's two guys that are playing great football. Maybe this season when you look at these two quarterbacks, I don't know if we've ever seen a matchup of two quarterbacks that played this well through an entire season matching up in a Super Bowl. And so it's fun. I mean, as a fan of the quarterback position and a fan of offense, they do it a little bit differently, but they've both been great this year in their own right. And my hope is that we get to see that same greatness on display on Sunday evening, because it will make for an epic Super Bowl and great entertainment for all of us that are sitting back and watching.
Now, most people probably would say, oh, who's going to match up with Julio? I'm looking forward to Malcolm Butler and Julio. But in my mind, is how do these teams match up with the opposing running backs? Like, how does the Falcons, who is going to cover Deion Lewis? Like, that's a problem. Who's going to cover James White? And then vice versa, who's covering Devontae Freeman and Tevin? So that's the matchup that I'm looking forward to seeing.
Any particular matchup? Well, literally this New England defense, this number one scoring defense. See, there's only 11 guys on the field on either side, right? And if you take two people to guard Julio, unless you're going to take a guy out of the middle of the field, how do you also have an extra guy in the box to stop the running game? I just don't know how they're going to do it without having 14 players on the field. So I'm going to be just interested in seeing how Bill Belichick defends Julio while also defending those running backs at the same time.
I'm looking at it on both sides, how teams will adjust to the running back position. Both teams have a good core running backs that can run and catch the ball. And I think both teams' linebackers are kind of the athletic guys, but not great cover guys. So I'm excited to see that part of the game, seeing how both teams will respond to spreading the running backs out and getting them involved in the passing game.
Julio Jones, who's going to guard him? Is it Malcolm Butler? Will they put Logan Ryan on him? Will they also put McCourty? Is it Chung? I mean, you have to find out what the matchup is. Julio versus the secondary. The matchup that I'm looking forward to is it going to be Van Noy? I mean, what linebacker? Is it Hightower? Who's going to guard against Tevin Coleman and Devontae Freeman when they guard the backfield? Do they put safeties on those two guys? You have to look at those type of things. Is it Roberts, the rookie, who's played a lot in their nickel packages? It seems to be a pretty fast guy, So we don't know who that guy is that's going to be covering those backs out of the backfield. So those are the matchups that I'm looking forward to.
I think the linebackers and safeties versus those backs. It's going to be pretty important to watch on both sides, because you got Blunt, you got Deion Lewis, you got those guys that are going to try to cover them, and Coleman and Freeman on the other side, and they're going to move those guys around a lot. So we'll see if they can get the linebackers out of the box or safeties to come up and match up with those backs and how that look.
There's a lot of cool matchups in this game. You're talking about Kyle Shanahan, who's probably going to end up over there with you guys in San Francisco, versus the genius of Matt Patricia and Bill Belichick's defensive scheme.
Wins again, they're backing up. They're backing up two straight.
That's a pretty interesting matchup. The other matchup is, the Falcons' offensive line is the only offensive line that started the same five guys every game. That's hard to do. The Niners did it a few years ago. It's hard to do that. You get a little bit lucky, you have the right guys. They added Alex Mack from Cleveland, that was a smart get by Thomas Dimitroff. I was with him last night. He added some real good guys to this team besides his draft choices. But if that offensive line can hold up against all the schemes that Matt Patricia and Bill will put out there, then Matt Ryan has a chance to throw for a lot of yards. If they give him trouble, Matt Ryan's been sacked 37 times. That's the 6th most in the league. He's been hit. He's been sacked more than you'd like him to be. So that offensive line against Bill's defense, I think, is the interesting matchup. That'll come.
Me in my bed when I get out of this. I can't wait to see that matchup.
Deion, I got it.